February 2013. A young woman enters an elevator in downtown Los Angeles. She presses several buttons and waits. The doors don't close. She looks out, hides, gestures to something, or someone we can't see. Minutes later, she vanishes. Weeks later, her body is found inside the hotel's rooftop water tank. This is the story of Elisa Lam, the girl in the elevator. A girl disappears in the middle of Los Angeles. No witness, no sound, no trace. Her name is Elisa Lam, 21 years old, a student from Vancouver, traveling alone through California. It was supposed to be an adventure, her first real trip away from home. In late January 2013, Elisa arrived in Los Angeles. She checked into a downtown hotel she found online. It was cheap, central, and ordinary. At least, that's what she thought. The Cecil Hotel, a place with a history darker than she could ever imagine. Elisa called her parents every day. She wrote cheerful updates on her blog. She talked about bookstores, coffee shops, strangers she met on the street. She sounded happy, but something about her tone felt restless, like someone searching for something she couldn't name. On January 31st, she visited a bookstore a few blocks away. The owner said she seemed bright and curious, buying gifts for her family. That night, she called her parents one last time. She sounded fine. And then she was gone. When Elisa didn't check out the next day, the hotel staff found her room empty. Her suitcase was still there. Her laptop was open. Her bed was neatly made, but Elisa had vanished. Police searched the building. Every hallway, every stairwell, every basement. No signs of struggle. No evidence of where she went. No one had seen her leave. For nearly 3 weeks, Elisa Lam was missing, until the police released one piece of evidence, a 4-minute video that would change everything. The Cecil Hotel stood like a skeleton at the edge of downtown Los Angeles. Built in 1927, once a grand destination, now just a shadow of itself. Time had stripped it of luxury, but not of its stories. And every story there ended the same way, badly. Over the decades, the Cecil became known as the city's hotel of death. Guests died by suicide, overdose, or worse. Between the 1930s and the 1990s, dozens of lives ended behind its walls. Some jumped from windows. Some never checked out. 2 serial killers lived there. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and Jack Unterweger, the Austrian murderer who wrote about crime while committing it. The building carried an aura that no renovation could erase. Locals whispered that it was cursed. Cops called it bad luck. Everyone else just avoided it. By 2013, the hotel had been split into 2. The lower floors were low-income housing. The upper floors, rebranded as Stay on Main, were rented to travelers on a budget. Same building, different worlds. Elisa was assigned a shared room on the 5th floor, but after a few days, she was moved to a private one. Her roommates had complained that she was acting strange, talking to herself, writing notes to no one, hiding behind doors. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe it was something else. No one knows. The Cecil had seen strange before. Strange was normal there. No one could have known that the hotel's history was about to add one more story, and this time it would go viral. The video appeared online on February 14, 2013. It was simple. A grainy black and white clip from a hotel security camera. Elisa Lam steps into an elevator. She's wearing a red hoodie and shorts. She presses multiple buttons. The doors don't close. She leans out, looking both ways. She hides in the corner, steps out again, then in, then out. Her hands move in strange patterns, like she's talking to someone we can't see, or maybe to herself. She moves fast, nervous, confused. Then she stands still, and suddenly she's gone. The elevator doors close, then open again, then close once more. That's it, 4 minutes. But those 4 minutes would become one of the most watched and analyzed videos in internet history. Viewers slowed it down, zoomed in, enhanced shadows. They said she was hiding from someone, that there was another person in the hallway, that she was possessed. But there was no one else there. At least, not that we can see. The footage spread across the world within hours. Forums exploded. People turned into detectives overnight. The case was no longer local. It was global. Elisa is Asian and young, red hooded sweater. The police searched the hotel again. Every room, every hallway. They brought dogs. They checked the roof. Nothing. Her family flew in from Vancouver. They handed out flyers, begged for witnesses, stood outside the building, waiting for a call that never came. Weeks passed. Guests started complaining about the water. The pressure was low. The color was strange. It tasted bad. A maintenance worker went to the roof to inspect the water tanks. He climbed the metal ladder and opened one of the hatches. He froze. Inside the tank was the body of a young woman, naked, floating face up in the water. It was Elisa Lam. She had been missing for 19 days. The discovery ended the search, but started the real mystery. The rooftop of the Cecil was supposed to be secure. Locked doors, alarms, access only with staff keys. But somehow, Elisa got there. The water tanks were tall, 8 feet high, smooth metal walls, heavy lids. To climb in, she would have needed to lift the hatch, climb the ladder, and pull herself up. Inside, there was no ladder to climb back out. Her belongings, her clothes, her watch, her phone, floated nearby. There were no signs of trauma, no bruises, no evidence of violence. The autopsy concluded her cause of death was accidental drowning. No drugs, no alcohol, only traces of her prescribed medication. But the levels were low, suggesting she hadn't been taking them regularly. The official theory was mental disorientation, a manic or psychotic episode, a tragic accident. But the public didn't believe it, not in that hotel, not after that video. The case exploded online. Reddit threads, YouTube breakdowns, and endless theories filled every corner of the internet. Some believed she was murdered. Others said the video had been edited, that seconds were missing. People found faces in reflections, shadows behind her. Every pixel became evidence. And then came the supernatural theories. They said the Cecil was haunted, that the elevator was cursed, that Elisa was playing something called the elevator game, a Korean ritual said to summon spirits between worlds. There was no proof. But it didn't matter. The mystery was too powerful. The story was too perfect. And the internet needed a villain. They found one, a musician named Morbid who had stayed at the Cecil a year earlier. He wrote dark songs and filmed creepy videos. It didn't matter that he wasn't in Los Angeles at the time. The internet decided he was guilty. He was harassed until he disappeared. The case that began with one missing girl had turned into a digital witch hunt. Before she was a mystery, Elisa Lam was a voice online. She kept a blog where she wrote about books, love, loneliness, and mental health. Her words were open, raw, and vulnerable. She talked about depression, about medication, about feeling stuck between wanting to live and wanting to disappear. She wanted connection. She wanted peace. In her final posts, she wrote about feeling anxious, about not sleeping well, about needing to reset. She wasn't running away from life. She was trying to find herself in it. But bipolar disorder doesn't wait for the right time. When untreated or mismanaged, it can twist perception, distort fear, and break the bridge between reality and thought. Her behavior in the elevator, her sudden silence, it all begins to make sense when seen through that lens. Maybe she wasn't running from someone. Maybe she was running from her own mind. Years passed, and still people argued. Some said it was murder. Some said it was possession. But the evidence told another story. Elisa's medication levels were inconsistent. Her actions fit the pattern of someone experiencing psychosis. She could have found her way to the roof through the fire escape. A narrow path, but possible. She could have lifted the hatch herself. The simplest explanation was the hardest to accept. That her death wasn't caused by evil or by ghosts, but by tragedy and chance and illness. The Cecil Hotel didn't kill Elisa Lam, but it gave her story the perfect stage. After her death, the Cecil became a symbol, a place where history and horror blended into legend. Documentaries were made, songs were written. Tourists came to see the elevator. The hotel tried to change its name, tried to erase its past. But the past never left. Elisa's family filed a lawsuit, arguing the hotel had failed to protect her. The case was dismissed. They returned to Canada. They never spoke publicly again. But the internet didn't let go. Her story was told and retold until it no longer belonged to her. Time passed. The building closed for renovation. The world moved on. But that video never stopped playing. Elisa Lam became a ghost in digital form, forever trapped between truth and speculation. People still visit her blog. They leave messages. They say she helped them feel less alone. Her words continue to reach the living. She wasn't a symbol. She wasn't a myth. She was a girl who got lost inside her own story. Her death is not about monsters or mysteries. It's about how fragile the mind can be, and how quickly the world forgets that behind every case, there's a person who just wanted to be understood. Elisa Lam didn't vanish into thin air. She vanished into noise. And maybe that's the real tragedy. Because in the end, the elevator doors finally closed. But the world never stopped watching.